We're talking with Aunt Mae West in Silvey, Mulkey's home on October 25, 1974, and the record just broke, but we're going right on talking. Now, what we did was first review the children of N.B. West: Vicey, J.O., Harvey, Kate, Maddie, Miles, and May the youngest. You don't remember the names of the children who died, do you?
Never one of them said Cindy.
Yeah, I have a sister, Cindy. She was.
There's another one?
Yeah.
She was next to Mama, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Next to who?
To Vicey. Yeah, I forgot about Cindy.
You mean Cindy? Did she live?
No,
She lived.
she died when I was 4 years old.
She lived. She used to
taught
teach school.
Cindy, C-I-N-D-Y?
She lived next to Mama.
She was right after Vicey.
That's right.
I forgot about her.
She never married,
No, she didn't.
unmarried, and taught school, huh? What age did she die?
About 19. She was about 19.
All right.
She was teaching school.
Now, then, Aunt May, you first married John Klein. First, what is your birth date, Aunt May?
May the 12th,
What year?
1902.
1902. Seems like Silvey and you are close to the same period, huh? Would you happen to know Miles's birthday?
Well, he was about 2 years older than me.
And you don't remember the day of the year on any of them, do you?
No, I sure
Okay.
don't.
But the Bible has all that.
Yes, my Bible has it
Mhm. You have the N.B. West Bible, right?
all. I sure do.
And you also have photos of N.B. West, good ones
No,
with
have no
a
good ones
mustache.
like that.
Any close-ups of him?
I just have some little pictures. Just.
And how about your mother? We've talked about
Well, my mother was a Southern,
Mary,
Mary Ann Southern.
Marianne Southern. And would you talk about her a minute, what she was like as a person?
Well,
What was her size? And
my mama was kind of tall, wasn't she?
was she as tall as your father about?
She's taller.
She was taller than me.
All
I
right.
was tall.
Go ahead.
She was tall and slender. She wasn't.
Slender. How about her eyes and hair?
Well, she had, as well as I remember, Mama had blue eyes
Yeah.
and long black hair.
All right. How about her disposition?
Well, I thought she had a very good disposition.
Was she the disciplinarian in the family, or was your father who would take care of things in terms of?
Well, really, Mama was more about taking care of things than my daddy was. My daddy taught school in his early years. Mama kind of looked after everything.
Right. All right. Now you married John Klein, and your first son was Clarence.
That's right.
Do you know when he was born?
He was born on April the 9th, 1990.
Okay. And your second, you had another son with John
Lawrence.
Klein? What name? Lawrence?
Lawrence.
Okay.
He was born March 12th.
Yeah.
About 2 years. About 2 years. difference.
21, 1921. He's about Della's age, huh?
Yes, I read
Okay. Now, did Clarence marry?
it. Yes.
Who did he marry?
He married Beatrice West. He
Beatrice.
married Nelly's daughter here.
Beatrice West, who was Nellie's daughter?
Was Nelly's daughter.
Okay. Which West, were they related in any way?
No.
Second cousins or anything?
No.
Okay. Were they Gilmer County West, so? Beatrice West?
Yeah.
I guess they were. I guess they
Yeah.
were.
Yeah, we have. Daddy had Mo used to go to school there in Addis.
Huh?
Daddy used to go to school there in Addis in Gilbert County.
Okay. He married Beatrice West. And then Lawrence, did he marry?
Yes.
You tell me who.
Lawrence married Ruby Pearson.
How do you spell Ruby?
P-A-R-D-O-N.
T
P-E-A-R-D-O-N.
P-E-A-R.
D-O-N.
You're saying T is in
No, P.
P.
P-E-A-R.
P.
P-E-A-R-D-O-N is what
Pearden.
Pearden.
Pearden. Okay.
He married, they separated, and then he married an Adcox.
All right. Second was what Adcock did he marry?
Kitty.
Jim is what they call her, I reckon that's her name.
Jimmy.
Jim Adcox.
Okay. Now your next marriage was to Martin Robinson. Were there any children?
One
That-
child.
All right. Who was that?
Benny.
D-E-N-N-Y?
B-E-N-N-Y. Benny. Benny Ross. Benny Ross.
All right. B-E-N-N-Y.
Y is the way I say it.
Benny. And when was he born?
Well, my oldest child, Clarence, is 6 years older than Benny.
Then Benny?
Than Benny.
And do you remember Benny's birthday?
He's been born like 1925.
Yeah, 1925.
And do you remember his birthday?
March the 8th.
1925.
That's Benny's birthday.
That's Benny's.
Elsa's
Yeah.
birthday.
Well,
Okay. That's Benny, huh?
yeah,
Right. There was just one child from Martin Robinson.
Right.
yeah.
Did he marry Benny Robinson?
Yes, he's married.
Oh, by the way, does Clarence live around here?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Where, in Atlanta or where?
Come County.
Cobb County.
All right. And does Lawrence live around here?
He lives in Dyersville.
Lives in Daresville.
Adairsville.
Lawrence lives just down below where I live, down in
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know where it is.
Okay, who did Benny marry?
Benny married Shirley. Shirley who now? Lockaby. Married Shirley
That last name is
Lockaby. I don't know. I really don't know how you spell it.
Lockaby.
L-O-C-K-E-B-Y.
I guess that'd be
Lockaby. Okay, and where does Benny live?
yeah, White, Georgia. It's up just about 8 miles from Adairsville.
Near
It's
Adairsville.
near there.
Now that was the only child of the Robinson marriage.
That's
Did you
right.
have any children with John Holcomb?
No.
Okay. Are you presently married, Aunt May?
No, I wish I were. No, I just said that. I told her I think I've had enough of marriage. I'm presently an old wedding.
Okay.
Johnny comes back to Odella every once in a while. He's been here since I've been here.
John Klein?
John Klein, he's not big.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's been here since I've been here. Since I've been staying here.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody knocked on the door one morning now at the door and they said, John.
Where does he live, around
He
here?
lives in California. He tried his best to get me to go back there. And he's been back several times. No, I'm not really.
You had a hard time.
Yeah, but I'll always love him as long as I live.
What were your impressions of growing up? What was your home place like where N.B. West and Mary Southern raised you?
Well, it was just a wonderful home.
How many acres did they have? Do you remember?
No, I really don't remember.
Was it the same home place that, say, the older children like Vice C
Yeah.
and J.O. were still on, or was it a different place
It
by
was
the
a
time
different
you...
one from when Vicey was home. But Oliver now lived there because I remember when I was a little bitty thing, going to the field where he was at, and he was pulling fodder, and he'd try to make me help him pull fodder just to tease him in an old tax sale scheme. And so I know he was still at home. I remember when I was and Lily married, I was just 4 years old. And so he lived on there at home again, and my daddy, built Oliver and Lily a little house down in the field. But Vicey was married before I lived for him.
And you stayed with him a
Oh,
lot.
I reckon I did. And Oliver wanted to put me on. I'd cry to sleep with him, and Oliver would. He'd known if he's gonna put me outside and make Ellie mad. She said, "You don't put that baby outside now, just a little bitty thing." And she'd get over and stick with that. I always loved Lily just more than a sister could love a sister. I really loved her.
So you stayed with them a lot as a young.
Oh yes. I stayed with them a lot.
What are some of your earliest memories of Gilmer County? How long were you there before the family left?
Oh, well, I think when we left Gilmer County, I was just about 11 or 12 years old. I was going to school, always went to school to Oakland or Oak Hill. Somehow we go to Oak Hill.
Were they one-room schools that you went to?
Oh, no, Oakland was a big school. Were you ever in Oakland school?
No, I never
Oh,
saw
they were
it.
they had about 4 or 5 teachers at Oakland, but Oak Hill was just a little one-room shack.
Was it a lot different when you came down from Gilmer County to
Very
your
much
home?
so, yes.
How did you come down, in a wagon
Come
or?
down in a covered wagon.
Did Grandpa teach school there?
My daddy taught school up near Piney Spur, somewhere up in there. Is where he taught school, but
You don't remember that?
no, he didn't teach after I come along. I don't think he may have before I can remember. He went to college. My daddy went to college to, I don't remember. Dahlonega, that's where
He went to Dahlonega College?
Mhm.
This is NB West.
That's in the
Well, tell me about the trip down. You're about 11 or 12 years old, and how many of you make the trip, and how do you make it?
We made the trip in a covered wagon. We had to stop. We couldn't come all the way in a day. We had to stop and spend the night.
In a church?
In a
wasn't it?
church. We spent
Yeah.
the night in a church.
My daddy's told me about that.
Now, your dad, was J.O. West along too?
No, he wasn't alone.
You see, you're hearing it by hearsay.
Yeah,
He
well,
wasn't
I
there.
Well, he may have, we told him, I guess.
That's right, yeah.
right.
And what, you came down by covered wagon, and how did you cook out overnight?
Well, my mama had brought some frying pans and things, and they made up a little fire out in the yard, churchyard, and she cooked our supper on that time.
You asked permission to stay in the church?
Oh, back them days you didn't have to. People would just gladly let you stay, you see. But my mama talked to the man that lived there near the church, and he said he had a lot of campers coming there, and he always...
You had along, Miles was with you, and Maddie? Who were the younger children still at
Well, now,
home?
the only children that were alone, we left Maddie up in Gilmer County. She was teaching school.
Yeah.
She didn't come, and Kate was finishing school. And she didn't come along.
Just Miles?
Just Miles and me and Mama. and Dad.
Okay. And where did you go to when you left there? Where did they take you to settle?
Gordon County.
Gordon County. We moved to Gordon County.
All right. Had your dad gone on ahead to scout the country, to buy a place?
My daddy had been working down there and staying with some folks, and he just rented a house from that man and moved us down. Times got so hard in Gilmer County, but we couldn't hardly make it. Daddy come down there and got him a job, and so he...
What was his job down there?
Oh, I don't remember now. It's been so long, but I...
Was he
He
working as a
on the
farm laborer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was farm labor.
You rented a home in Gilmer County and worked as a farm laborer
He rented a home in Gordon County.
in Gordon County. And did
I mean, Barkley, it was Gordon, wasn't it?
Yeah, Gordon.
do you happen to remember him saying what he made? Was it like 50 cents a day, $1 a day? Was it very low wages in those
Very
days?
low wages. I imagine that. I guess he was making about $1 a day. Imagine. And then they thought that was a lot.
And that was a long hour, that was a long day.
Yes.
Sun up to
Sun up
sundown.
till sundown.
My daddy worked for me today, sun up, sundown.
Me and my sister Kate has picked cotton many of them, and the day when it was real cold and cotton then we
Was-
would make over 20 cents.
Was Gordon County cotton country?
Yes, it was cotton.
You'd never been in cotton country
Never had
before.
been in cotton country.
How did it strike you as a small child, the
Well,
change?
It struck me pretty hard when I get out in the field and have to pick cotton.
20 cents a day.
20
First
cents.
time I ever seen, I thought it's hungry.
Well, my sister Kate did too.
It looked like okra when it
Yeah.
starts to grow.
We
Yeah,
were going to
before
Sunday
you-
school with a crowd of children when the cake was growing, but I wasn't. She, she was growing. And she saw all this cotton growing out there, and she said, "Lordy, what did everybody make so much okra for?" She thought it was okra, and that just tickled the people that we were with to death because she thought it was okra.
Okay, now you settled down, and how long did you stay in Gordon County?
Well, we stayed there. I imagine we stayed there about 5 years.
Okay, and what are your memories of that house? Was it there was just Miles and you and your parents and occasional visitors?
Kate and May. The sisters.
You mean Kate had not married Oscar yet?
No, no.
Where was Uncle Harv then?
Harvard married Pearl Neely, lived in
Yeah,
Youngstown.
He still lived there.
Yeah.
But Kate and Maddie came along. They didn't make the trip immediately
No,
with you,
they
but they
didn't.
came along later and lived
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah, that's right.
Did any of them go to work? Were there cotton mills near there or anything?
No, not until we moved on down in Bartow and kind of we're living now.
All right. Now you were born in 1902 and you made this move when you were, say, 12. So this was about 1914, maybe.
Yes,
And then when do you think you moved on to Bartow County?
well,
About 19,
let's see.
about 1918, I guess.
No, it was earlier than that. It's about now. I think we just stayed in up there in that county until about 1950.
That's not very long at all.
No, it's not.
You only stayed there about,
We stayed there about
2 years?
About 2 or 3 years. I just want to say for sure.
all right, and then where'd you go?
Well, we moved to Bartow.
Now where'd you move to in Bartow?
Well, we moved just up above Cartersville, about 7 miles.
Was that, what was the town?
Cartersville.
But was the place you were at, was it like Atco or somewhere like that?
Atco was between Cartersville and where we moved.
And did anybody start to work in the mills then, or weren't they open yet?
Yeah, they were a cotton mill down there at Atco, but they didn't go to work down there for 2 or 3 years after we moved.
You still were doing cotton farming in
Cotton
Bartow
farming,
County?
uh-huh.
Okay. North of Cartersville. Now this time was your dad renting the place again?
No, he bought this home in Bartow County. He bought it.
Now could this be the same place that Don later bought?
Yeah.
That same
That's the
place.
same place, I've been on it, okay.
Yeah, that was the old home place. You remember the spring, Aunt May, over there in with the watercress in
And you know, my mama, she used to call it peddling. She'd carry milk and butter
And a
and stuff to
buggy.
Atco.
it. And a little
in
buggy.
a little buggy.
Mhm.
And one day she had to get her a hickory. She was driving a little horse named Woodrow. And he got where he wasn't hard to go, and she got out and got her little hickory, and it was a willow, a little willow hickory. She broke it off somewhere on the side of the road, and she carried that little hickory home and stuck it out to the spring when you're with a big spring back here.
Yeah.
And that little willow tree's a great big tree now.
Well, that's when we lived there. It was shaded
Yeah,
the spring.
shaded. And it didn't have a root on it or anything. She just
Imagine
stuck
she
right
just
in
stuck
there.
it in.
She just stuck
And that's where all the watercress.
Did you
was.
like that farm?
Oh yes, we
That
all
was,
loved
that was much better than Gordon County,
Oh,
wasn't it?
That's where she got married.
That's where I got married.
It was 2 rooms, wasn't it, Aunt May, when y'all moved in?
Oh, we had when
Quite a
we
big
moved.
house.
Oh, we had a great big house.
The 2 rooms were not important. Big house burned down.
Oh, the
See,
big
Don,
house.
The big
the-
house got very
Where,
much.
well, your mama lived after Don bought it when it was
But
a
listen,
small building.
This little house that Don lived in. Well, he bought the daddy house, didn't my
Yeah,
daddy
he did
house?
the old
He
one,
lived
yeah.
there.
But
But
they
they
You
were.
might have lived up on it, up on the hill, is that
But
right?
they were a little house there that
But the
Carter
big house
lived
burned
in.
down. It was big
Yeah,
house.
the
It
big
got
house
burned down.
burned
The
down.
big one. Yeah, that's where
Do you
the
know what
Bible-
your daddy paid for that farm? Did you ever hear say?
Well, I've heard, but I couldn't remember how much he paid.
Okay.
Anyway, he was just renting, and he had bought it from a man by the name of Fire, And he
What
wanted
name?
to farm, he Y-R-O-M, farm. Y-R-O-M, I think.
Wow.
And he bought that, he went to Atco, he was just renting the place, but he went to Atco and went to work, and Maddie and Kate did too, and all of them were grown up. And he bought that home there. And then he and Mama went back to it after the children married off.
But let me see now, the way he was able to do it, he couldn't make out enough renting it on cotton crops, but he himself, your daddy, N.B. West, and two of the girls went to work at Atco? Okay, can you tell me about that? About when that was, as well as you can guess? Was it World War I?
Well,
Yeah,
let me see.
yeah, it was
Yes,
right.
yes it was.
And what did your daddy do in the mill? What did the girls do?
Well, my daddy, they called it feeding the hoppers. I don't know what that is.
How long did he work at that? Do you have any idea of when your daddy was born without the Bible? The year of his birth? Okay.
But, let me see.
All right. How about who went to work in the mill? Which of the girls?
Well, Kate and Maddie were the girls that went working in
Were they spinners, or what did they do? Did they say what they did?
the mill. My sister Maddie was a weaver. She weaved.
All right. N.B. West fed the hoppers, huh? How many years did he do that you remember?
That was it. That
Yeah, that's when he was in that. Well, I guess he worked there at least.
Boston worked there too.
Yeah, my brother Miles worked.
Wait just a minute, let me get it all. Your daddy went to work around World War I, fed the hoppers at Atco, and Maddie and Kate, Maddie became a weaver.
And Kate was a spooler. She spooled.
Maddie, a weaver, and Kate spooled, okay. Then did you say Miles went to work?
Yeah, my brother Miles worked, and he weaved too.
Now how many years would you say in all they worked at that trade?
Uncle Miles did almost till he died.
Oh yes, he worked in the cotton mill, you know, the Chola, Calhoun. That's where he died. And do you remember Eileen?
Eileen was
she,
it?
She was here, yes.
Was she?
I mean,
Where is she now?
She called.
Oh, she gone.
Yeah. She was way there, but
Your dad worked fed the hoppers for say about 7 years roughly. He was
Yes.
getting on in years by
yes,
then,
it
wasn't
was.
he? Did Maddie stay as a weaver for many years?
Yeah,
10 years maybe?
yeah. We were 10 years.
She married Charles Griffin. Did he go to work in the mills?
Yeah,
Yes, he did. He went to work in the mills. too.
At Atco?
no Calhoun.
What did he do at
They
Atco?
worked with that for a while after that, and then they went to
I
Calhoun.
don't like Charles got it. Oh, yeah.
When I worked in the mill at Calhoun, he done something to run
All right.
water.
Now when did you work in the mills at Calhoun? When you were married to John Klein?
After Johnny and me separated, I went to Calhoun and got me a job up there. Worked in
How long did you work in the Calhoun cotton?
About 4 years, I think.
There was that much time before you married Martin Robinson? At the what was the mill called at Calhoun?
The Chola.
Let me get, what did you call it?
The Chola, E-C-H-O-T-T-A.
Excuse me, E-C-H-O-T-T-A.
Oh, T-T-A.
At Choda
The Chola Cotton.
Cotton Mill.
I'm just wondering what he wants us to know. Just make it look.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's between the Klein and Robinson marriages, huh? In your case. But back on Maddie, she stayed at Atco, and and with Charles Griffin, the both of them went up to Calhoun, the same mill, and worked there together? Okay. How about Kate? How long did she do it?
Didn't work too long.
She didn't work too long.
She married Uncle Oscar and they moved over on the farm in Cassville.
When we visited them several times, they were back near Kennesaw. Was that the same
No,
farm?
near Cartersville,
That
Cassville.
was near Cass Station. Was that? That's right.
Who
Yeah.
did she marry somebody? Who was Festus?
Altman, she married
Altman first.
Altman. Yeah, that's right.
And she had Festus.
Yeah, that's right. Festus and another boy, wasn't or just Festus?
That was only Altman she had, but she
Yeah.
had two mattresses.
Two Mathis,
Mathis,
yeah.
yeah, I
Right.
remember
That's why I've got this somewhere, but I don't have what people worked at. How about Miles? Did he marry?
Yeah.
Who did he marry?
He married Ruth Wilson.
Where was she from?
Well, they lived there that so when
Did they both work in the mills
both of them worked in the
for many years? And did he move to Calhoun or did he work at ATCO all those
No,
years?
he moved to Calhoun.
And Allen was the oldest child.
Yeah, Ellen Bowles.
Did his wife, Ruth, join him at ATCO working in the mills? And then the both of them went to Calhoun, huh?
After they went to
They
Calhoun.
both were working in the mill before they got married.
Yeah, they were both working.
I see. He met her in the mills,
Yeah.
and then they moved to Calhoun. Could you tell me, as you remember, what the attraction of Calhoun was? Was it a better place to work than ATCO, less dusty, or better wages, or what?
Yes, I liked better there, and the people were more friendly. They just could,
More like Gilbert County.
more like Gilmer
More
County.
like all folks.
Do you think that most of the people that were from Gilmer County would have enjoyed working in Calhoun better because of the fellow workers,
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
or because of the company?
because of the fellow workers and the company too.
I would think.
Why? What about the company?
Well,
What-
it was just a better place to work, and the boss men were more friendly, and just everything seemed like was better in that part.
A lot of people that worked there was from Gilbert County.
Yeah, a lot
All
of
right.
county people worked
Okay. So, you think that Calhoun then became a place that attracted them
there,
more?
attracted them.
Can you think of any other relatives, even cousins, who went to work at either ATCO or Calhoun or other cotton mills?
Then Uncle Harv worked in a
Yes,
cotton
all right,
mill.
my brother worked at Calhoun.
When did he come down from the mountain?
Well,
Do you remember, Sil?
No.
he came down there, let's see, it was
He
after.
came down after Pearl died.
Yes.
Yeah, that's when he
Pearl
died,
died,
yeah.
and after
Now,
my-
Pearl was his first wife. Did he remarry?
Yes, he married after she died.
Did they have children?
No, Pearl and Hard did, but now when he married this other time, they didn't
Uncle
was his
Harv
second
looked
wife?
like my daddy, didn't he?
have. Yes.
They grew up.
Hard's second wife was Seanie C.
Say it again.
Seanie C.
That's why I know I have this. I'm not finding this worksheet. Must be out in my car. It's got me mad because I could do better if I had the family
I mean,
listed.
your keys.
Yeah, you may have to bring in the, because you both know so much of the family that if I've got something wrong,
Hey, May, I want to know all about Daddy's family too.
Yes.
That's
see,
why-
she doesn't want to concentrate on just
Just the
Mulkey.
It's just a market.
She wants to know the West too.
Excuse me,
So
Sil.
that's made it
Um,
better.
Would it be too much trouble if I put the light on? Would that bother you?
Oh, no,
okay.
no, no, it's not.
Hold it.
That's something out of her pocketbook, I think.
No,
Oh, out of that thing.
it's this
Yeah.
thing that I knocked
Yeah,
down.
I know. I'm sure.
I told Silvey to be careful a minute ago, and then I walked right into the wire.
We all had
Uh,
an accident. and
yeah.
so-
I wasn't being too bright there. Now, I'm just trying to see where I've lost out on the... You may bring it in and that'll do it. Because what I have too to check with you is not only your own brothers and sisters, but your recollection of your uncles and aunts. And I have a pretty good record of them, but she may have it out there. I think I've checked that NB West, now both NB West and Marianne Southern West are buried in the Cassville Cemetery. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what that's called?
Well, it's just called Castle Cemetery.
Okay.
I never heard it called.
Now, somebody gave me information that they lived in Gilmer until 1913, then went to Gordon County. That's what you're telling me, right? Let me see if I can see it.
And I wasn't hardly 12 years old. Sometimes when we went to the upstairs.
You began doing cotton farming near Ranger, would that be? That was the place. Now we're getting it,
4
okay.
miles from Ranger.
Huh?
4 miles from Ranger.
And did the daughters start in the cotton mills before your father or not?
Oh, we didn't start in the cotton mills. They didn't while we lived in Gordon County.
No, when you left.
In Bartow County. And they started out.
They got Spurgeon's prayer, Michael Bowles' prayer.
Now, what about borders? Did you keep borders?
Mama run a
Yeah.
boarding house.
Mm-hmm. And how many borders would you keep?
As many as can come on board.
Give me an idea of how big your house was. How many rooms?
Well, we had about a 5-room house, Mama did. There in Atco, I imagine it's a 5-room house. And
All right. And in that house was your mother, your father, and 3 of the sisters and Miles, huh?
yeah, I had
2 of the sisters.
2 of the sisters.
2 of the sisters and Miles.
2 of the sisters. I done
Well,
that before they
I-
moved there.
I was married too. His grandpa lived there.
And,
Mama kept boarders,
okay.
and they kept cows. Mama
All right,
kept
how many borders? You said as many as you could get. Give me an idea of how many were different ones.
Anywhere from 2 to 5.
2 to 5. I don't
2
know
to
if she
5
ever had
boarders.
over 5.
Can you remember what a boarder was charged?
$5 a week, I think.
Yeah, about $5 a week.
Now, how many of them were to a room?
Well, I know Mama had 2 beds in 1 room. She had 2 rooms and had 2 beds.
So if she had 4, that would mean they'd be using up 2 of the rooms,
Yes.
right? And would they eat with you at the table
Oh,
then?
yeah.
Okay. And with the money you made at the mill at Atco, I'm trying to be clear how, at that point, were you able to buy the farm west of Cass Station, north of Cartersville?
Well, my daddy saved every nickel he could while he lived there at Atco, and my sister Maddie did too, and she helped but I had been married and he was very young. But she would help Daddy, she helped Daddy buy the farm, and my brother Miles did, and they had saved enough to not pay for the place, but it made a good.
Now, did you continue to run the boarding house at Atco while you bought the farm, and doing both at the same time?
Yeah.
After he bought the farm, why?
Then what?
After he bought the farm, they didn't move to it. They stayed on at Atco, he still.
What did he do? He just went out there and raised a crop in his part-time?
Well, after-
Oh, no.
Well, no, he bought the farm and then he just rented out until they got
Okay.
ready to move back to the
So that for several years, you stayed in Atco, working at the mill, keeping boarders, and accumulating money to buy the farm. Even when you owned the farm, you kept it rented out.
That's right.
And then you still didn't move to it for several years.
Well, I just can't remember how many years, but after all Kate married off and the children went to marrying off, why Mom and Daddy then they moved to the farm. They moved and stayed on the farm. My daddy died on the farm. But then after that,
Do you know when your daddy died? That's in the Bible, I
in the
imagine.
Bible, I have it down in the Bible, but I just don't remember what year.
Okay.
Got
Now,
19
Yeah, you go ahead.
16, no,
It had to be after I was born. I was born 1921.
21.
Were you very small?
I remember
remember
him.
that day?
I remember Grandpa coming and sleeping. It was in the summertime on the cotton on our porch at Kennesaw. Yeah. And see, when When your daddy died, didn't Grandma have that store on Summer's
Summer's
Hill?
Hill,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
See?
yeah, my daddy died there when they moved back
You
to
died
Cartersville.
in Cartersville on Summer's Hill.
He didn't die on the farm.
No, he
died at
didn't.
Summer's Hill.
No, because I remember him coming to visit us,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
that's where he died in Cartersville.
Yeah. Oh, he had a long sick spell while we lived on the farm, and I think
He
I
did,
think that
and
was-
he couldn't work any longer.
Right.
And then they
And
moved.
Grandma ran that little store there.
She brought that little store, brought them that little old home, and they moved back there and stayed on
That's
Summer's
right.
Hill.
And Summer's Hill, and that's where Grandpa died, and that's where Grandma died at,
Now you
And
mean
Boston.
Marianne Southern?
yeah, didn't she?
No, she didn't die, right?
Did she die at Aunt Mattie's, with Aunt Mattie, wasn't
Oh, she died in
She
that
died-
baby's
she
house.
died
it? At your house.
Well, Mama
Oh, at
died
your
at
house.
my house.
Yeah, is that right? That.
Now your home was where at this point? Where your mother died?
In the Nashville,
Yeah, there.
but not in the same place she lived
No.
at.
Because you've left the Calhoun cotton mills now,
Oh, yeah.
and you're in Adairsville. Okay.
Mama died at my home, but I lived on Summer Street, you know. Did you come there when Mama died?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I was living there on Summer Street.
And who was the? It was his name something Greenaway was there.
Summer Hour was.
Summer Hour,
Yeah,
yeah.
and they had some of that.
Ain't that
Mama.
Summer Hour?
Yeah.
I remember she
That was my mama's sister.
sister.
They lived down in here somewhere, but she's dead now.
Yeah,
She, they lived over there close to Bradley's.
right across that hill there.
And Alice told me they used to live.
Yeah, they did. I went to see her there when I was little.
Our Carver used to live right in there close somewhere. I don't know which house it was now. I close to when Summer House lived there.
Well, I went to
Our
y'all.
Carver lived right close to it.
You came to our house and Clarence was more my
Yeah,
age
that's right.
when we.
Y'all was living somewhere back over there, and Annie Lou and Silvey, you know, lived close to y'all.
Yeah.
We went down, I went home down there with Silvey one night. And we emptied the office racket in the kitchen and got up and went in there and there was a cold cat and got in the kitchen. And Annie Lou baked the cake because she knew we were coming, but I
Uh-huh.
and that little cold cat had run that cake.
Now, let me follow you up. You moved from Calhoun to Adairsville. Is that right? Because you've moved, you said, from...
Thanks so much.
She didn't have a child over she
No, that's right. You married Robinson now.
I worked in
right?
Calhoun, but I just stayed with my brother and sister,
Mhm.
Hey man, you remember when you lived in Cartersville? When you lived in that house and they used to say it was haunted because somebody killed
so.
themselves.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that. You remember blood was still on the floor. You remember that?
Yeah.
Clarence?
They called it the old haunted house.
Haunted house.
Yeah.
Me, let's see, Elsie and Belle and
Do
I.
you get to see any of the Clarence or Lawrence of any?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do they have children? Let's take them. Clarence, he has. Do you know the names of his children?
Yeah.
All right.
Jared.
And Beatrice West is a daughter of Nellie's, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Let's take the oldest child of Clarence then, and Beatrice.
Okay.
Who's that?
Okay, we'll try. The oldest child, their oldest children.
Yeah,
Well, their oldest one is Gerald. Gerald Klein.
Gerald, Gerald. All right.
Gerald Klein.
They're all
And
Kleins.
they're
Yeah,
all
Kleins,
Kleins.
Kleins, sons. Okay.
Gerald and Carolyn.
How do you spell that?
Carolyn, I believe.
All right. And Nellie, you speak out if any of this is wrong. Just-
Gerald and
Okay.
Carolyn, and now what's the next one?
Let's see.
What's the third oldest?
Melody.
Third is him.
Who?
Melody, M-E-L-O-D.
O.D.
Melody, just like the song. Okay.
What a pretty name.
All right. That's 3 children. Any more?
Randy.
They have 4 children.
Yeah,
Janice comes in there.
Janice comes in between Randy and, yes, Janice and Eddie.
Janice, Jan,
I see.
I-C-E.
Uh,
And the fifth child is,
Randy.
and is that all?
That's
And they live in Cobb County.
Uh,
Now let's take Lawrence, whose first marriage was to Ruby Pearden. Did they have any children?
all. One,
All right. What is that child's name?
Larry.
L-A-R-R-Y or Lawrence? Was he named after his father,
Well,
Lawrence
yes,
Jr.?
Yes, his name is Lawrence, but they just always called him Larry.
I want to put him down as Lawrence Jr. then, probably, huh?
Junior.
And then Larry as his nickname, huh? Now, let me nickname these. Is Clarence called Clarence, or has he got a nickname?
No.
Your
that's his
son.
real name.
And Lawrence your son Lawrence is called Lawrence, and
Yeah.
Benny is called Benny.
Yeah,
Now let's take these grandchildren. Is Gerald, that what he
That's
called?
like-
yeah,
He just called Gerald.
And Carolyn,
yeah,
Melody, Janice, and Randy. They don't have other nicknames.
No.
no,
But Lawrence Jr. is called Larry.
yeah,
That's Lawrence with Ruby Pearden.
yeah.
The second marriage to Jimmy Adcock. Are there any children from that?
Oh, there's so many you
I
never
know
looked
it.
at them all down.
Let's try.
Well,
Lawrence?
This is Lawrence Klein's children with Jimmy Adcock. And they live in Adairsville. What does he do for a living?
He's deputy sheriff
He's a deputy sheriff.
in Cartersville.
You where?
He works in Cartersville. He's deputy sheriff in Cartersville, but he lives in
Is
there.
he allowed to do that?
Yeah.
Now what does Clarence do in Cobb County?
Marcus still takes days.
A what?
He worked at Seal Test Days, Clarence.
What is he? Is he in the plant?
Yeah.
He's a plant worker?
He takes them out town, takes them back in, takes them into the mall and all that.
Yeah, works at
Yeah.
jobs inside the plant, okay? And let me take Lawrence now, who's a deputy sheriff, lives at Adairsville, huh? But he's actually a Bartow County deputy
Yeah.
sheriff.
That was in Bartow.
Huh?
Adairsville is in Bartow.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, that's, I didn't realize that. It seems far north to me, okay. So he's in the same county.
He's in the same county.
All right, the second marriage to Jimmy Adcock. You don't know her legal name, but she's called Jimmy.
Well, that's her real name.
Okay.
Well, they
Let me,
were-
how many children they got?
About
Let's call them off. The oldest,
Johnny
Johnny.
and Johnny and Gary.
Is Johnny a boy?
Johnny's a boy.
Two N's and a Y?
Yeah.
All right.
Johnny and Gary and
Gary,
Herman
Herman,
and Kathy.
Kathy with a K.
Yeah. Kathy, and I see one more girl. What is that youngest girl I talked to? I can't remember her name.
Is that all? One more?
Yeah, one more.
There's another girl.
Pam.
Pam, yeah, I remember.
Have you seen these
I haven't seen him, but I've
fine
seen the
children?
picture.
Now, Benny married Shirley Lockby. What does he work at?
He worked at Seal Test, yeah.
It's like
Same deal?
Yeah.
In the same plant with Clarence?
Yeah.
And he lives near Adairsville.
Well, they
And,
call it Pine Rock where he lives. It's up about 10
all right, and
miles from there.
but how, I put near Adairsville. And what, how many children?
They don't have any.
No kids, okay. Yeah, why don't you use the phone and FJ, I don't know how to find FJ. I said I'd call him. He must be here in Marietta, huh?
Maybe.
422,
You know the number?
422, 5056.
422
5056.
5056. You know what we're gonna do? Make a dinner engagement. No, I can't eat for a while either, but we'll come by after we get settled somewhere. He's probably gone by now, so I told him I'd call him before 3. He lives alone in the old house, huh?
Yeah.
On Lacey Street?
Yeah.
He's bound to be out. He gave up on us, buddy. I'll let it ring just in case he's asleep. Wakes him up good. It's like the nurse, you know, they wake you up in the hospital to give you a sleeping pill. Left for,
For Gilmer County.
left Gilmer County, right?
Well, we just got in such a shape we couldn't live hardly. My daddy.
How hard did it get? What do you
It got so
remember?
hard that we ate cornbread for breakfast.
Yeah, that's all you had.
Yeah.
And we had something to go with it.
Yeah, we had a little, we had cream, not cream, well, we had gravy. We always
Yeah.
got the cow. But at times it was real hard, and I remember my daddy having to leave up there and go off and have a job and come to Jordan Town. And he got him a job with a Reese man cutting timber for a Reese man. And Mama had always said she wouldn't leave up there because all the folks lived up there, all of her folks.
Mm-hmm.
But my daddy one day, he sent this Mr. Reese up there to move us to Jordan Town. And my mama just cried and said, I never can stand to leave up here. But we had to because we just couldn't make a living. Daddy had taught school in his earlier years, but he had quit and he was old and he'd come down to Mr. Calvin Reese's and work there.
Hadn't a great many Gilmer County people had to leave
Had to
though,
leave,
so there were more and more leaving than were staying.
That's right, they had to leave. They just couldn't make a living.
It was very
They
bad
didn't grow
economic
cotton,
time.
you see, up there.
One reason we didn't leave on account of selling corn. We left corn was drinking that juice.
Well, my dad
And tubes, yeah.
Yeah.
It made it work it corn into.
Well,
We
there were
have to-
stories that they tell. Can you remember carrying different parts of the family had to do it different ways? Now, one story that people tell me is about carrying Gilmer County whiskey under the buggy seat and having to carry it down, you know, to get by to sell it somewhere else, right?
Or under apples.
Any way you could carry it, huh?
I
You ever remember a story about canned fruit, too?
I
Or
remember a story about my daddy. He had a big apple orchard up there, and he'd bring apples to Atlanta in a covered wagon and sell them. And I remember one time he said, Ann, I believe I'll see. He said, we're just up against this bad. I remember this now when I was a little bitty girl.
yes.
He said, I'm a good man. You get a few gallons of whiskey and take and put under them apples. So that maybe the law won't get us. And so he bought it and take it and sell it. So he done that. He got his whiskey and put it in there, and I come with him in that covered wagon. And I never had seen a colored person in my life until that time. I was just a little bitty.
You were in a wagon going
A
south
covered
to
wagon
Atlanta.
coming to Atlanta. And so we stopped to eat supper, and a whole lot of people that live around there come out there seeing us camping, you know, and wanted to buy apples and things. And after a while, they come and asking me, said, a lot of these mountain people brings us down the little whiskey. Said, would you happen to have them? And my daddy was scared to death to let them have it. But I remember that, and I was just a little bit.
How old were you?
Oh,
You say little bitty.
I
I
was
want you
little.
to
I
guess.
imagine I was about 4 years old, but I can remember it just as well. I never-
Were you alone with him?
Yeah. Just
Your mother
mom and
didn't
daddy.
come?
Yeah,
Did he
mom
call
and
you-
daddy, both.
Did
She
he
was
call your mother Ann? What did he call
her?
her?
Ann.
He called her Ann.
So-
And what did she call him? Bud? or-
Bud, his name was Nathaniel Benjamin. She called him Bud. So Papa went and let them people down some whiskey.
That airplane's kind of bad on that machine we're trying because it drowns out our voices. See?
Well, our bosses won't be on that one.
Well, we hope it will. We can show you in a minute. It's an easy way to remember what we're trying to get. What happened is, even when you got down, did you, and settled where you said you did around Bartow County, did you still have to do some peddling by buggy in Cartersville?
My mama peddled.
What did she peddle in Cartersville?
She peddled milk and butter and all kinds of vegetables.
You always had at least one cow?
Yeah, we had sometimes 2 cows.
Mm-hmm.
And mama peddled milk and butter and just anything she raised in her garden. And fruit she can
Okay.
a whole lot, you know, she could sell that.
All right. What I want to do now is move a little bit away from those experiences to what you remember of older people. We talked about your daddy and your mother. Your daddy had a sister named Nancy who was called Sis. Is that right?
Yeah.
And she married Taylor Clemens, or do you not remember that?
Yes, I remember. I can't remember when I heard Mom tell it.
Which marriage do you remember? Because she
Well,
had several.
I remember the Mashburn marriage.
All right.
Mashburn.
Yes,
That's all
Henry
I remember,
Mashburn.
That's all I
That's
can
all the one I remember.
Do you remember after his death, John Ingram of Bartow County?
Yes, after
Okay.
Mashburn died, she married in England.
Now, did Sis ever go to work in the mills?
No.
Okay. Was it true that your N.B. West and Marietta Southern each was the oldest child of a first marriage of a father who married more than once? In each case.
Mama, my mama's sister was the oldest child in that family, Martha Greenaway. And then Mama was next, and then their mother died, and my granddaddy married them. And they were more.
All right, let me get to your mother in just a minute then, because I have... Oh, Martha Jane was older than she was, right? Now, after N.B. West and Nancy was called Sis, there was another brother named Jackson.
Jack, that was...
You remember that, Uncle?
Oh, that was my daddy's.
Yes, your
Jack
daddy's
was-
brother. What do you know about him?
Nothing. He was dead before I could ever...
How do you know he was dead?
Well, I don't...
He left the country,
He left
didn't
the
he?
country, yes.
Nobody knows what happened to him, do they?
No, but they just
Do
don't
you know who he married?
No, I don't think
You ever
so.
hear of Adeliza? Or who she was? Or that he had more than 5 children?
I just don't know anything about it.
Never heard that. You were too young.
I was too young.
Okay, no one repeated any of it to
No.
you. Jackson just disappeared. Then he had a sister named Bess,
Yeah, and she married a Neely.
William Neely of Gilmer County. Do you know the names of any of their children?
No, I never did know they ever had any children, but they might have.
The oldest, I have a record, was Modi, who was burned to death when she was 8 years old, and the family moved to South Georgia. But you never heard any more about that. Okay. Now, B1, did your mother, I'm trying to figure out, B1, whether your mother, who was James or Jimmy who married Lula Johnson?
Oh, that was West. wasn't it?
Yeah, which West? What?
James West, that was my daddy's brother, half brothers.
These are half brothers, right? Because his father married more than, he married
Yeah.
2-3 times. Huh?
That was half brothers. You know.
All right. Do you remember James or Jimmy West who married Lula Johnson?
I remember Lula Johnson, but Jimmy West was dead before I could
I
remember.
remember Little Johnson.
I remember Lula Johnson well.
Lula or Lily? What do you
Lula.
think? Lula, okay. Do you remember their oldest son's name? Now we're going to have to wait a minute because when those planes go over, I can't hear you too well.
One of them named Wade West.
Wayne West.
Yeah, Wayne West was the oldest son. Was there any others?
That's all I know.
Sylvie, you got a good memory.
There was
Now, in this second marriage, I'm speaking of a second marriage now, of Benjamin West's father, right? We're back at that. In this second marriage, he had another child besides James or Jimmy, named Sarah, who married Wheeler
dead.
Bearden. And they moved to Bartow County. Did you ever keep track of them?
Oh, yes. We,
Who were their children?
Oh, they, who were Uncle
Yeah.
Wheeler's next series children?
Yeah.
Well, they had about 10 or 11. And one was Red's.
Do you remember any of them?
I remember all of them. We
I
used to
remember Road.
Huh?
I remember what they wrote.
Yeah, but all the
You don't know the oldest
I
offhand.
know
I
the
know about the
oldest.
girl.
What do you think was the
Really
oldest?
West was
Really?
Really Bearden.
How do you say that now?
R-I-double-L-A.
R-I-double-L-A. Really? Okay.
And then Millie.
Millie.
Mm-hmm.
Another girl, Millie.
Another girl, Millie.
All right.
And then Della.
Della. There she sits. Go ahead.
I wonder if they
These are beard
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
buddy. Go ahead.
There's Millie, Marilyn, and Della, and Effie.
Effie. Now, did you know them? Were they your age, any of them?
Mamie, now this girl I'm calling now is about my age.
Mamie? All right.
We were good, but
So far, these are all girls. He hasn't had a boy
yeah,
yet.
we're coming to the boy, so. Let's see, and then Effie, and then Mamie. I told you Mamie, and then Roland. Now he's the boy. Grover.
Grover.
And Jesse.
Jesse.
And then I had a little boy that was kind of crazy like, and his name was Leonard.
Leonard?
I had that many
Was he
kids.
retarded?
Yeah, and he died when he was just about 10 years old. Well, he and my daddy died. He was buried the same day my daddy was.
Did your daddy, if I had a guess, die about 1924 or 1929?
I say 1929.
If you had a guess, which
Well,
year?
yes, about 1929.
If you had a guess. Huh?
Yeah, 'cause he had to, 'cause I remember
Somebody told me
so much
24 and
about
somebody else told me 29, and until I get the Bible, I won't know, you see. That's why I'd like to, the way I've got them right. Now, about your mother, Mary Ann Southern, did she die about 1940, 41, or 42?
44.
44.
If I'm not first mistaken.
The war was well underway when she died. It has been going on for several years. Okay.
She died about 42.
Well, it seems to me like it was 44, but I won't say for sure, but I...
Okay.
Grandma.
Now, so far I'm giving you N.B. West's father's first marriage, the children. Now I'm giving you the second, James and Sarah, children. Now the third marriage had a Letty. There weren't any more children of Wheeler Bearden's, you've forgotten, have you?
Oh, I reckon not, but now these lady and Nita's, that was my daddy's sisters, you
These are half sisters, yeah. These are the third marriage of his father, right?
see. That's right.
Now Letty,
Lady married Lester Reeves. You remember Nina Reeves?
now when her
I
father,
remember Mom talking on that.
Jane, did you ever hang around Letty at all, or?
Oh, we used to visit them when I was a little kid, but every time we go to Ebenezer Church, they lived close to Ebenezer, we'd go out there and
All right.
visit.
Now, when she born, she lived her life and died in the same house. What house are they speaking of?
A house right close to Ebenezer, it's the
Church.
the church right close to Ebenezer Church. And it was just almost inside, and we'd always go when I was a little kid out there home for dinner.
How old would Letty be compared to
Oh,
you?
well, Aunt Lady was near my mama's age.
Now, let
She
me
was about
read this
Dice's
this
age,
statement
I
and let's see if it makes any
She
sense.
died about 83 or 4 now. Kid.
When she was about 12 or 13, when her father, that would be James West, am I right? Died. I can't be sure of what I've got down here. And she married then, I'm not sure, and moved in, and during the estate settlement, did she marry Lester Reese? This would be Letty. Did she marry him when she was very young?
Well, I just don't know because I was...
And then on the estate settlement, they bought out the others. That would have been to get the home place. Is that where they moved into?
I just don't know. I can't remember that.
All right. Do you know the children that Letty had? Any of their
Oh,
names?
yes.
Could you help me? These would be, she married Lester Reese, who was a farmer in Gilmer County. Huh?
And the oldest girl was named Nanny.
Just a minute, let me get these. Ninny. N-I-N. Two N's, all right.
And May,
M-A-E.
and then May, and then she had a girl named Dale.
What?
Dale.
Dale, she had a girl named Dale. And we moved away from there by the time Dale was a little kid, and I don't remember if she had any more children or not. Do you see?
I have down that they had 10 children.
10 children in the...
Letty did, but I don't know where I got the information, and that she died about 1930 and is buried at Ebenezer.
I know she's buried at
But you don't know any more children than those three.
No, because we moved away from
We
Gilbert.
moved away from that too.
Now, there was another child of James from this third marriage, Needy.
Yeah, Nita Reese, she married Lester Reese's brother,
George, right. He was another farmer in Gilmer County.
Yes, he was.
And they are supposed to have had 12 children.
Well, I remember Aunt Letty did have a girl named May. Did I call her
What?
out?
Yeah,
May.
Yeah, Letty, yeah, you said Ninny, May, and Belle.
Yeah, well, I don't know any of Aunt
Right.
Nita's children's names. I think it's mostly boys. I think every one of her children were
Oh,
boys.
she had
Okay.
two girls.
Yes, she did have a girl or two.
Had two girls. I know you said I have.
Now-
Yeah, one of them made a nurse.
Well, I was there for the last.
Now see what you can remember. You mean one of Needy's children or Letty's was a nurse?
Nita's girl was a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Okay. Do you know anyone who keeps up with these people that would know? Okay. Nobody in the West family has a hobby of keeping up.
No,
Okay.
they showed up.
Now let me talk about your mother, Mary Ann Southern. She was, again, her father, was he Oliver? He married more than once, so he had two marriages, and they're half-sisters. Her older sister was Martha Jane. She married Ben Greenway, a Gilmer County farmer. You correct me when this is wrong. Now, Ben Greenway had grown children from another first marriage. Is that true so far? Martha Jane, was she a favorite sort of aunt of yours or not, frankly?
Well, yes.
You think?
Yes, I think she was.
Or
Because I
did she
knew
have a
her-
disposition that might
She
not have
had
been as nice as
She had a
some
very
others?
bad
This
disposition.
is nobody
She
did
had
like.
nobody
Huh?
what?
Aunt Martha,
Yeah.
that's what you
Oh,
call
yeah.
it.
Yeah, she
Why?
had a bad
This is nobody
disposition.
did like.
But
Then
see,
why do you say she was a
I
favorite?
liked her because they lived there on my daddy's farm, and I'd go down there when we'd be hoeing cotton, and she would always give me something. She was real friendly, but she just couldn't go back to her and get along.
Aunt
She had a
Martha.
bad disposition, right?
Yes, but she'd bake us tea cakes and bring up there.
One of the people that were not even in the family described her as a hellcat
Oh, she was.
in
And I cried
Gilmer County.
practically all night long when Grandpa was sick. I remember that. And I had to sleep with Aunt Martha
Oh.
because she cut her toenail off and it was bleeding. I mean, just, she had a hangnail or something.
She was real bad to
And I was
raise.
scared.
Couldn't
Now-
get along with nobody.
Now let me see if I've got Martha Jane married Ben Greenway, and he had grown children. But who were the children she had out of the Greenway marriage herself?
Well, her daughters were E.
E-R-E-R-A?
I always spelled E-A-R-I-E, I believe the way they spell it.
You sure? I'll put it down, but one person gave it to me as E-R-A.
Well, it may be.
I don't know. I'll put question
But
mark.
she spelled it herself, E-A-R, E-A-R-I-E.
Yeah, all right.
I-E, like Erie Canal?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Who did
Flora,
she marry?
She married a Klein,
What Klein?
Roland Klein.
Roland Klein.
And she's in that area. He's in
Where was
Ridgeville.
Roland Klein? Was he a Gilmer County?
No, he's the Cherokee County man.
Huh?
Lived up in
Cherokee.
Cherokee County.
All right. He was no kin to your Klein.
No. Well, I believe they were about third cousins.
All right. Now, Ira moved to Cherokee County then?
Yes.
Okay. What was the second daughter of Martha?
Flora.
Flora. And she married?
She married a Bivens, Herschel Bivens.
Not a Holcomb. She never was a Holcomb.
No, she never was for one.
All right. She married. How do you spell
B-V-I-N-S.
B?
Bivens, B-I-V-E-N-S.
B-I-V-E-N-S. What Bivens?
Herschel Bivens.
Herschel Bivens. Now, did she have a third marriage? A second or a third one,
She just had a
Flora?
second Flora had about a 25th one, I think.
Let's see, but Bivens was the first marriage.
Bivens was her first marriage, but she...
Yeah, and you know all this. I mean, I can count on your information now. That was her first marriage. What was her second marriage?
Well, her second marriage was a donkey. She married a donkey.
What Duncan, if you think of it?
Well, they called him Eugene. He was no side boy lived there in Cartersville.
Eugene,
No.
No,
he was in Cartersville.
yes. But now that's only 2 real marriages, I
The
think.
rest of them were common law.
Just
Or,
common laws.
okay, were there any more children of Martha James?
No, she didn't have any
All right.
more children.
And we know about Mary Ann Southern, and that's all there was from that first B.N. West marriage. I mean, that first Oliver
Yeah.
Southern marriage.
Mama only had one whole sister, and that
Right.
was Aunt Ma.
Now, Oliver Southern, when his first wife dies, remarries, this time to Nancy Clayton. Am I right or wrong?
Well, as far as I know, that's right. I've always...
Or was Nancy Clayton Flora's mother? I'm a little
Well, Aunt
confused.
Martha and Mama were whole sisters.
Yeah, no, it's all right.
That's what-
Now, this second marriage has Adeline and Ad. Did you remember her?
Yes, I remember Ad.
Who did she marry?
She married a Summer Hour.
Ezekiel?
Ezekiel Summer Hour.
Used to live near Aunt Alice.
Yeah. And Alice told me she lived by that.
Near where?
Aunt Alice, we went to see her a lot of times.
She's buried at Smyrna, because they later moved to Cobb County. Do you remember her children?
And Dad's children?
Yeah.
Well, she had a girl named Cindy,
Lucindy?
Lucinda, and then she had one named Mildred,
Go ahead.
and then she had some boys.
Daniel?
Dan Summer and Charlie,
All right.
and let me see now. Charlie Summer. I can't remember.
How about Grace?
Grace
Grace.
and Kitty.
Gracie
Grace.
what?
Grace, and then she had a girl named Kitty.
And
I
was
remember.
Kitty Sue?
Kitty Sue, huh?
All right. Are these all the names you can
That's
remember?
all the names I
All
And
right.
know.
I remember Kitty Summer.
Yeah,
They
Kitty
farmed not too far away from Jack McGahee's farm.
Right.
And for 2 years, J.O. West was in Cobb County, not far from
Summer.
that.
Not far.
Okay. Now, after Adeline, in that marriage, there was a Nancy. An Aunt Nancy.
On that thing,
And
so
she married
hey, good.
John Haygood. Hagood.
Yeah.
Who was-
Good. H-A-G.
He was the son of Thomas Haygood of Gilmer County.
Sylvia, are we tiring you out? Are we tiring you out?
No. So I go back.
All right, who were their children? Nancy's children.
They just had one child, and his name was Thomas Oliver.
Okay. You don't know what became of any of those people. Okay.
Well, Aunt
Did
Nancy's
Aunt
dead.
Nancy?
She's dead and been dead for years.
Did they ever settle around here?
No, they lived in Gilmer County as long as I
These were all, they were not called Olivers because these were girls who were marrying other people, right? Then the third child was Miles. This was Miles
Uncle
Oliver.
Miles Southern. You're talking about
Miles.
people?
Yeah, I thought they would, are they Southerns? Or, yeah, Oliver Southern, sure, they're Southerns, right?
Miles Southern was my uncle.
Yeah,
My
right.
almost half brother.
And he married Roxy
Roxy somebody.
Beard,
Bearden, that's right.
Gilmer County. Do you remember their children?
Yeah, I remember something.
Come on, you try them, I
Well,
want to check them.
Let's see.
Because I don't know the names.
Uncle Miles had a girl named Mildred, didn't he? Silvey?
No, that was Adeline
Oh, yeah.
and that.
Well,
How about a boy named Price?
Price?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy named Frank.
Ice Casper.
Yeah, keep going.
Casper is one name,
Was there
Nance, one named Nance.
Manson?
Uh-huh.
All right. How about a girl named Isla
Yeah,
and a girl named Lona?
yeah.
That's right.
Now, were there any more? That's all I can
That's
find.
That's all the children he had.
Do you think I've got the order right? Price was the oldest,
Yeah.
and Isla,
Yeah.
then Manson, then Casper, and then Lona. Now, where did they move? Where did Miles move to?
He lived in Gilmer County till he died.
He lived in Gilmer County.
Well, he was a farmer up there till he died. Gilmer County farmer. Okay. Now, the last of the children then of this second Oliver Southern marriage was Flora,
That was her.
F-L-A-R-A.
We always said Aunt Flary.
Aunt Flary.
That was Mama's half sister.
Yes.
Yeah, that was.
How do you spell Flair?
F-L-A-R-I-E is the way my mama always spelled it.
Larry?
Flary. I thought that was a funny name, but that's why my mama spelled it. F-L-A-R-I-E.
All right. Now, who did she marry?
She married a Chastain.
Lloyd Chastain.
Lloyd Chastain. Can you remember any of their children, and whether they were girls or boys?
Well, their children were girls, but I can't
Was
remember.
that in relation to Dr. Chastain? Remember?
Well, I imagine they were. They all lived in Gilmer County.
Now, what? Think of any of those girls' names. Yeah.
Flora. She had a girl named Flora.
Clora. Maybe, all right, C-L-O-R-A?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she had a girl named Isla.
The other, we just had an Isla of Miles's. Had an Isla.
Well, he had a girl named Isla.
They both had Isla.
Yes, they did.
Right. I-L-A. All right.
And,
You're
and
doing
then
well.
he had a
I never
one-eyed
heard of her.
girl. And what was her name, Silvey? Do you remember that one-eyed girl?
No,
Her name was,
The youngest one was one-eyed?
Yeah.
one-eyed.
She works over at Lockheed. I don't know what her name is.
What her name?
She's around here now?
Yeah. Over at Lockheed.
All right. Now, did Flary come down from Gilmer County? Did they ever move out of Gilmer
Yeah,
County?
they moved to Cherokee.
You mean Floyd Chastain did?
Yeah.
To Cherokee County?
Yeah.
Did they go to work in the Canton cotton
Oh,
mills?
yes,
Yeah.
Canton Cotton Mills.
All the girls did too?
Yeah.
So the mother, the
Oh,
father, and the
right.
children all went to
I
work?
don't think the one-eyed went to work there.
But he
Huh?
had a one-eyed girl.
Yeah, I don't think she worked
Aunt
there.
Flary and Uncle Floyd were third cousins.
Wait a minute now. Aunt Flora
So she married Floyd.
and Floyd were third cousins.
And people told them because they were third cousins, if they ever had a third child, that there'd be something wrong with it. And sure enough, this third child
Born with one.
was
What do you mean by
born
one
with
eye? Can you
one eye.
explain
She
that?
just had one eye.
Just one
Did
eye.
you ever see her?
Oh, yes.
Do you mean the other eye was missing?
No, it wasn't missing.
Closed up.
It was
Just
just
one
closed
eye.
up.
Mhm. Okay.
And Uncle Floyd, stayed with Aunt Flary and Granddaddy.
Was Oliver Southern, following the death of his second wife, a widower for many years then?
Yes, as long as he lived, he hasn't married.
And Nancy Clayton, do you remember anything about her? She was originally from Dawson. Whether she had brothers?
Clayton.
Yeah, Manson,
Man-
John. Nancy Clayton, I thought, married Oliver Southern.
Clayton, yeah. One of my granddaddy's wives was named Nancy.
Mm-hmm.
See, I've heard Mama talk about him, but I didn't remember then.
Now, when you go back in the Southern line, do you remember Uncle Bob Evans?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, I remember Uncle Bob Evans. He married, I remember Uncle Bob Evans. They used to live close to Clare Creek when I was a little girl, and we would go there and go out there. Somewhere went out there with somebody to get some water one day. And they were close to Clare Creek too. But I don't remember I couldn't never remember nothing about him to tell or anything like that.
I remember it pretty good.
I guess Silvey remembers him pretty good. 'Cause
What do you remember, Silvey?
I just remember I've been in his house a lot of times.
You mean where his farm was
Yeah.
in Gilmer and all that?
Yeah. He was a deacon clerk at church.
Yeah, well, I've seen him at church. When
I see he was a deacon there at
Deacon
church.
now.
Yeah, I know. Well, he had a boy named Bob, didn't he?
Yeah,
He
the
married
boy
Ethel-
named Bob.
And he married Ethel Williams.
Yeah. He had a girl named Betty.
Daddy?
Betty.
Uh-huh.
I say Betty Mulkey.
Uh-huh.
Betty is. I was still on the lost time.
You spent the night with Bob Evans?
Yeah, I was Bob Evans, but that is also.
Oliver Southern had fought in the Confederate Army because on his grave marker it shows Company D, 6th Georgia Regiment.
I told you he'd been all through the
Yeah,
cemetery.
you know that Kennesaw Mountain?
Uh-huh.
He got shot on Kennesaw Mountain.
Oliver Southern did?
Oliver Southern did, but it didn't kill him, but he got shot.
Where was the bullet wound? Do you ever remember him
Well,
telling?
I can't remember that, but he had a bullet wound. Mama's told that lots of times. Burned out Southern, we always call him grandson. Grandson got shot on Kennesaw.
Mhm. Do you ever remember Johnson E. Southern?
Yeah, that was Mama's cousin. Johnson and Johnson.
This was a cousin
I know.
to Marianne Southern. And Johnson E.'s wife was Arminda Ralston.
Well, I just don't remember what her name was. Probably
The Southerns were very long lived. When I went through the graveyard, they all lived a long time.
Silvey, he and Mama's walked all over that graveyard up at Ebenezer.
But the Southerns,
I
you
have
generally
six.
notice, lived longer than almost anyone around. W.F. Southern was another one.
Southern. Life had that one, both legs took off.
Huh?
Johnson Southern life had that one, both her legs took off.
Which Southern?
Johnson.
Johnson Southern.
Uh,
Why was that?
I don't know, they had that.
You remember that?
Yeah, I should every car he came with, yeah, her legs took off.
Right above the
You're
knees.
talking about Johnson
Yeah.
E. Southern.
Yeah,
His wife?
yeah,
His
yeah.
wife had both of her legs
Yeah.
cut off. Okay.
Right above her knees.
Yeah, I don't know what they
You remember something?
No, I remember Dad
I
telling me.
don't remember that. We'd left that.
We left too, but I don't know.
You don't know whether it was an accident or an
No, it wasn't an
accident?
accident.
It was needed, huh?
Yeah.
Now, W.F. Southern, do you make any sense of that? Or John O. Southern? They're people who were born around the Civil War and lived until the 1930s or 40s. How about William Southern? We think it's possibly Grandma West's daddy's brother, Mary Ann Southern West,
Well, I don't.
daddy's brother, William.
Well, I'll tell you, I've heard Mama call Uncle John, call one uncle of hers Uncle Johnson. And John, Uncle John said Uncle Johnson.
But this is a William.
Oh, William. I
Could
don't-
be an uncle. You never heard of her calling an
well, I
uncle.
don't, unless
Okay. Now, Lucindy was a daughter of N.B. and Marianne
it's
West. She taught school for a year or two. She was born January 11, 1886, and died August 11, 1904, when she was 18 years old. 18. That's who, right?
Yeah, that's
You
it.
did pretty close. You said she's about 19.
Yeah,
Okay, you're hitting pretty close.
yeah.
Now, here's another one. I don't know whether this is Uncle Jonathan. J.F.M. West has a grave marker. That could be Uncle Jonathan. J.F.M. West, born 1840, died 1911. But you would, in your childhood, you would have been about 9 years old. Do you remember going to or hearing of a
What is
funeral?
the name?
J.F.M. West. J.F. Uncle Jonathan is my guess.
Jonathan West. I remember Uncle Jonathan West. but
Would
I
he have
can't
died
remember.
about that time, 1911?
I guess
Then I
so.
can put it together, see. His wife was Martha L., and I'm guessing it was Spriggs, but there's no death marker on her. I know she can't still be around.
She's done gone, I know it.
Yeah, it's she was born in 1845. She can't still be around.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know. Was that lady 117?
Yeah, I got one. And
Well, that
these,
lady's gone pretty far with it, hasn't it?
Yes, she sure has. She's done hell over.
well, I still got a lot of holes in the. Oh, here's your. I should have hit. Here was the sheet I really needed. Wasted a lot of time. This was the sheet I needed, man. I didn't have. This would have moved it very fast. See, this is what I was going over. That J.O. Oliver West was named for both grandpas, James West and Oliver
My
Sutton.
daddy's name was James, and my
And so they picked both names.
And my son is named James after my
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Lucinda, we talked about Benjamin Harvey. That's his full name.
Yeah.
He was 6 foot tall. Is that about right?
Yes.
He was larger than Oliver. Oliver was small.
That's right.
He had no mustache, but he was one of the best bootleggers going. Was
That's about right.
that right? He was named after Ben West and Harv Ward. Would that be a?
That would be right. Mama had an Uncle Harv.
He lived a very hard life, very close to starvation, and I can't tell whether he had to go down to the Calhoun cotton mills later in life. I think he
Sure,
did. Huh?
That's what he did.
See, people were being driven out of those counties over the economics. Wasn't that the situation?
Old Harv had to move down there, and they got a job in the cotton mill.
Now, where did Uncle Harv die? He died
At
at
Canton.
Canton.
Now, you've been giving me, I better get your sheet, because here you gave me one. You said Canny. Wait a minute.
Canny, that's Kate. That's Aunt Kate, isn't it?
Canny is Katie in parentheses, but is her legal name Canny?
Her legal name is Canny.
C-A-N-N-I-E, okay.
And she hated Candy so bad she named her own self Katie.
Katie.
Because Katie and Candy stands for.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know
That's
her name.
kids first was Festus with Altman, and then Wallace, who was killed in World War II. Well, I knew all these boys, remember?
Yeah, we
I knew
knew them all.
Festus, Wallace. I took them to school, you remember? I
We
put them
used
in
to go there
Asheville.
and spend the night.
I used to take them with me places.
When Kate and them lived
Lived
up
out
Yeah,
there.
when they were up at
You
Cascade.
remember that time that Wallace having to say a little poem in school? He was an English.
Oh, he was mean.
Well,
I took Festus, remember we put him into a
Festus
good
went with us
school. We
to
took him to Asheville
in
and
Asheville, North
paid
Were
for
you
him.
all married then?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
we've been
Well,
married
Aunt
for about
Kate
years.
lived over there, and Mama lived for an old home place. There was a trail across there after Oscar's and Aunt Kate's,
Yeah.
and we used to go back and forth.
I apologize because I needed this sheet to really talk with you. I want to back up and just see if I can on Silvey, because he's old enough to remember some of this, and he was a businessman here in Marietta, but I want to go back to since these are BN West, connections. Lou Vicey was called Vicey, wasn't it? Right? She was, let's see, they had a grocery store in Marietta. That would have been with Charles Oscar, huh?
Yeah, the grocery store right there.
And previously they had one in Cartacay and Dyke. Is that right?
Right there, dead shot. Those two died.
Okay. Then he was the first, Charles Mulkey and Vicey were the first in the joint family to buy a car in Gilmer County. Do you know if that's true or
Yes,
not?
I know.
They got a Model T Ford, but no other. I couldn't find out that anybody else had ever bought a car until then. I don't know what year that was, if you remember the year by your age or anything.
Dr. Dawes bought a car there. He was my daddy's
Oh,
cousin.
no, who bought the first
He
car?
bought
No, I said it was first one like in the immediate
Oh,
Mulkey,
immediate.
West, family. Was that a fair statement?
Yes,
No, he didn't buy a car while he was in Gilmer County.
No.
Your dad didn't?
When did he buy it?
When we first moved to Cobb County.
And how old were you, so we could place it?
I was about 18.
Well, that would make it 1920. That could still mean that nobody had ever bought one in Gilmer or down here yet. in
Yeah,
that
they none of
family?
them had cars in Gilbert County when we moved.
No, I'm talking about Mulkeys or West.
I don't know.
Huh? I forget who told me this outside the family. They said it was the first Mulkey or West to buy a car was Charles O. and Vicey, both of them.
He bought one when we first moved down here in Cobb County. First, we lived down here in 1980.
About 1920 it would have been then?
Oh, it was more than that.
19 and 18.
Okay.
18 and 19.
I bought in Cobb County about 1918.
He might have been the first one that drove one back up to Gilbert County.
Of that family.
Out of the
But you're saying Dr. Goss had needed one for some time.
Yes.
You think he had one earlier?
I think
Oh,
he had
Lord,
one
yeah, he had one
earlier,
that I
Dr.
lived in
Goss.
before.
When?
Had wheels on his eyes, buggy wheels.
He was a doctor. you see.
What? Say that again.
Had wheels on his eyes, buggy wheels, great big high wheels.
Dr. Goss.
We went to school at Oakland.
What did he have? A Model T or something else?
I don't know what it was called. It had high wheels on it.
How old were you so I can place the year?
He was my daddy's cousin, Dr.
Oh,
Goss was.
yeah, I was about, I was about 10 or 12.
I remember when we'd come by the schoolhouse, Mr. James would let us all go out to look at that car. It was such a sight to us back in Arizona.
Then it couldn't have been any more in 1914 or so, huh?
No,
It was early 1914, yes.
we didn't move from
Well, you were 1902, you were born. That would have been about 12. You might have been a little younger.
I've been a little younger
When
than
Dr.
that.
Goss come by that school in that car, I was about 10 years old.
We lived in Deadshot.
You mean they let the school children out
They
to
let him
see?
out to look at that car, and that's where we left Gilbert County. I don't know, 92
Full with
years
it had a
old.
chain, like a bicycle chain kind of. It had
What did you say?
It had a chain, full with a chain. Like a bicycle chain.
Right.
And it had high wheels, great high wheels.
When we passed the schoolhouse, the teacher just let us all go out.
And then the next one that bought cars was her.
It had like an outside chain that you could see, huh?
Yeah, you see it on the outside. Then the next to the bought cars in Gilbert County was my wife's uncle, Brown Altman.
Who?
Brown Altman.
Altman? Osborne.
Yeah, that's my wife's uncle.
Uh-huh. What did he do for a living?
He got a store.
Uh-huh. Dr. Goss, I guess, made house calls. He needed it first of all. Is that right?
He made house calls.
You know, I have another note here. I asked you a question. That's why I told you I was hunting a sheet and I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
I believe I looked it up and they paid for that Cassville Station farm $1,700. And it had around 100 acres, more or less, was where the beef. You think that's about right? This would be the place that, Don later bought.
Later bought it. They don't have that. I don't know. They put a lot of it.
Well, now going down the line on these kids, Pearl Neely was sort of slow-moving sort of person, that fair?
She sure was.
And did we ever go over the children of Benjamin Harvey and Pearl Neely's marriage? Willis was the oldest.
Yeah, I did. Willis was oldest.
He went to work in the Calhoun cotton mill, married Eva Haynes.
Yeah, that's who he married. Willis is
Did she
dead.
work in the mills too, do you know?
I don't think she worked.
No, she didn't work there.
The next one was Euless.
Yeah.
Is Willis still? Yeah, been dead about 2 or 3 months. Willis still?
Yeah, he
Willis.
did that about 3
Not
months.
Willis.
Perez. Willis.
Uncle Harves.
Boy.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
He's deceased now, this Willis.
Oh, Willis.
When, this year?
Yes.
Yeah,
it's been
this
since
year.
3 months ago.
Euless married Amer Bromley.
Tamer Bramley.
Bramley. All right, I got it, yeah. And where did they live?
They
They
live
live
in
in
Atlanta.
Atlanta now, yeah.
Were they, for a while, wait a minute, it says he works for Kraft Cheese in Doraville. Would that be right?
Yeah.
Did they used to work in the cotton mill or not?
Sure did.
Yeah.
Where? Calhoun?
Yeah.
I didn't know you used to work there.
Oh, well, you was
Yeah, he
worked
did.
some, he sure did.
All right. How about his wife, Amer?
Well, now,
Don't know.
I don't know if Tamer.
How about Benny May was the next
Benny May
child
was the next.
That's Harves. Well, Benny
Yeah.
Mays, she worked in
in the Calhoun cotton mill. She married Elmer Blaylock.
and he's dead now.
It's dead.
And she married again. I don't think she married
All right.
once.
Then Ruby Lee is another child, but I don't know who she
I
married.
know, if I could find it.
You could help me because, see, I got pieces of information, but I need people
Who
like
Ruby
you all.
Lee married? Do you remember?
Oh, I know.
Oh, I know it just as well if I could find it. Believe me. And she had the sweetest daughter, and she married Dr. Walter's son. Ruby Lee's daughter did. Ruby Lee, it's not Turner, but it seems like it's something starts with it to you.
One Thomas. Huh?
No.
There was Willis, Euless, Benny Mae, Ruby Lee. The next child was Vaughn, and he went to work in Chattanooga. Now wait a minute, did Ruby Lee, and did he go to work in the textile mill? It says textile mill after one.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
he worked in
In Chattanooga?
I don't know what kind of work he does there. He may do.
Do you know who Vaughn married?
No, I know.
Very
I
good.
see what he was with his field, but I never had.
Where he lives in Chattanooga now?
Yeah, yeah.
And he and his wife spent in that house. He married her.
Ruby Lee you'll think of in a minute who she married, and then Cleo was the youngest.
Ruby Lee married Cagle.
Hey,
With a C-A-G-L-E?
C-A-G-L-E.
What Cagle?
Well, I don't know what Cagle it was. I can't remember
Right.
his first name.
Then Vaughn married somebody, and Cleo was the youngest.
Yes.
Did she ever marry?
Yes, she married her way off somewhere. I don't
Lived
know.
out in Atlanta somewhere, but I don't know who she
South of Atlanta?
Yeah.
Okay, now we've been, that was Harv. Then Canny was Katie, and we
now
went through her.
Aunt Kate used to peddle vegetables.
Yes, I think they did.
But she
Wait, let me
had
see
a
what I
lot
got
of-
about her. What is about this? I can't see it. Oh, a house. I'm talking about bootleg. Well, let me take the children. Festus. Wallace was killed in World War II in Germany. Lewis was an Air Force career man. Is he out now?
Yeah.
Lives